3, 2, 1, and action.
I'm Katie. I'm the admin and creator of Not Wasting My 20s.
I'm Chloe. I'm also an admin for Not Wasting My 20s.
I'm Sam, also an admin for Not Wasting My 20s and also creator of the Not Wasting My 20s book club.
What inspired you to create your own group?
I'll give that to Katie. She's our fearless leader.
Yeah, so I basically started the group in October of 2020, so it was deep into the pandemic, and had graduated from college in 2020 also, so I was kind of feeling that identity crisis, didn't have a job at the time, had a lot of free time, was living at home, just a lot of time to think. And I think especially during COVID, it was a really isolating moment, only being able to see like your family and close friends, whoever you were in the house with or in your bubble. And I turned to social media, as a lot of us do, and started making content just for myself to be like documenting my days of this is how I'm not wasting my 20s in quarantine, and realized that other people were feeling the exact same way. I had an overwhelming response. People reaching out to me, like thanking me for just saying this is exactly how I feel. I'm glad you put my thoughts to words, or my feelings to words. And after that I was like encouraged to just keep creating the content, creating the videos, and eventually someone was like, hey, you should really make a group for this. And I remember being so shocked that someone wanted a community made, because like I knew I was getting value out of it, but I didn't realize that like other people had been invested enough to want to be a part of the community also, and that was like a really humbling moment. So we made a GroupMe, but I didn't think GroupMe was the most sustainable because it kind of gets spammed with just messages all the time. So had some groups that I managed in the past for my community, or high school, college, things like that. So I was like, all right, let's try a Facebook group. And I didn't think that many people would join. Like I remember I made a TikTok about it. I think I sent it in the GroupMe, and I was like, hey, I made this if anyone wants to join. I think it's easier to like post and comment. And we had like a celebration when we hit 1,000 members. And you guys were both on the Zoom for that, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, I remember being like, oh my God, 1,000 members, that's so crazy. And now I think we're at 52,000 today. So it's crazy how much it's grown in 2 years, and like how much I just like to reflect too on like a butterfly effect of life, and being like, just because I made this one video this one day, like we're sitting in the Meta office talking to you guys. So it's really cool to like see the impact. Things you don't realize will mean something to someone else ends up meaning a lot. So yeah, that's like the story.
What are some challenges that you face with group moderation?
I think the biggest one we encountered early on, I think we were probably at like 5,000 people. We decided to make the move to 100% approved posts, so things couldn't be posted without our approval, because the content, like we had a relatively clear vision of what we wanted for our group and the kind of values we wanted our group members to hold, and the things that we wanted to provide a platform to talk about. And we just decided that it was getting a little bit out of hand, so we started approving every single post, and that was a huge kind of shift, I think, in the history of our group, because suddenly we were the gatekeepers. Like we were single-handedly, I think it was a group of 5 of us, like deciding what was going to be on that page, and that felt like a huge responsibility. And it's the topic of most of our conversations. It was definitely the topic of all of our conversations when we did it, of just like deciding like we get to be the gatekeepers, but that also means we need to be democratic gatekeepers. We need to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, and we need to like every time we have a gut reaction to something, we need to step back and be like, okay, we need to look at this a little bit more unbiased, and like think about this post's effect on the group and the kind of things we want people talking about. So I think that's probably our biggest challenge.
And then with the rapid growth, with people, so many people relating to the message and not wasting my 20s, trying to scale back and just say, hey, what's our vision here? Like, what do we want this to be? Was something that, I feel like we struggled on, just because it could have been anything that we wanted it to be. We had the community. It's just a matter of like, what do we want this to be? But it's grown to be such a lovely community. People, it's also shown me like how not different in the best way people are. We get so many of the same topics, but it's just like, this is a time in our life that has been so undefined for so long, and I think Not Wasting My 20s kind of reinvents that and gives a forum to people who otherwise have not been heard in the last couple of generations.
What is a group goal that you have for 2023?
More in-person events. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to meet more of the members.
Yeah, our whole thing started with Zoom meetings. We did a Zoom every Sunday, and that was really wonderful. And we did a career panel, and it was fully on Zoom. And so now we're trying to really move towards that in person.
Yeah.
Now we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say my 2 words would be connecting IRL, because we're such an online community, but like we really want to transition to being in person as well, because I think that's kind of how people's schedules are these days. They don't have time to Zoom every Sunday. So that's a goal we actually just set earlier this summer about making that transition.
Great. Thank you so much.